Kunja Vihari. No, it's okay, it's okay. No. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivagajara Srimad His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivagajara Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Sehitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhana Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary, Srila Prabhupada, Universal Form, chapter 11, verse number 17. Correct? Huh? 15. 1-5. Okay. Please repeat. Arjuna uvāca paśyāmi devāṁs tava deva dehe sarvāṁs tathā bhūta-viśeṣa-saṅghān brahmāṇam īśaṁ kamala-āsana-stham ṛṣīṁś cha sarvān uragāṁś cha divyān Arjuna uvāca paśyāmi devāṁs tava deva dehe sarvāṁs tathā bhūta-viśeṣa-saṅghān brahmāṇam īśaṁ kamala-āsana-stham ṛṣīṁś sarvāṁ uragāṁś divyān Arjuna uvāca paśyāmi devāṁs tava deva dehe sarvāṁs tathā bhūta-viśeṣa-saṅghān brahmāṇam īśaṁ kamala-āsana-stham ṛṣīṁś sarvāṁ uragāṁś divyān Arjuna uvāca paśyāmi devāṁs tava deva dehe sarvāṁs tathā bhūta-viśeṣa-saṅghān brahmāṇam īśaṁ kamala-āsana-stham ṛṣīṁś sarvāṁ uragāṁś divyān. Okay. Sarvāṁs tathā bhūta-viśeṣa-saṅghān brahmāṇam īśaṁ kamala-āsana-stham ṛṣīṁś sarvāṁ uragāṁś divyān. Arjuna uvāca dehe. Okay, Mataji. Arjuna uvāca paśyāmi devāṁs tava deva dehe sarvāṁs tathā bhūta-viśeṣa-saṅghān brahmāṇam īśaṁ kamala-āsana-stham ṛṣīṁś sarvāṁ uragāṁś divyān. Okay, word for word, please repeat. Arjuna uvāca. Arjuna said, paśyāmi, I see, devān, all the demigods, tava, your, deva, O Lord, dehe, in the body, sarvān, all, tathā, also, bhūta, living entities, viśeṣa-saṅghān, specifically assembled. Brahmāṇam, Lord Brahmā, īśaṁ, Lord Śiva, kamala-āsana-stham, sitting on the lotus flower. Rishin, great sages. Cha, also. Sarvān, all. Uragāṁ, serpents. Cha, also. Divyān, divine. Translation, Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, my dear Lord Kṛṣṇa, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahmā sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Śiva, and all the sages and divine serpents. Please repeat. Arjuna said, my dear Lord Kṛṣṇa, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahmā sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Śiva, and all the sages, and divine serpents. Purport Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna sees everything in the universe. Therefore he sees Brahmā, who is the first creature in the universe, and the celestial serpent upon which Garbhodakṣaya Vishnu lies in the lower regions of the universe. This snake bed is called Vasuki. There are also other snakes known as Vasuki. Arjuna can see from Garbhodakṣaya Vishnu up to the topmost planet of the universe on the lotus flower planet where Lord Brahmā, the first creature of the universe, resides. That means from the beginning to the end, everything could be seen by Arjuna, who was sitting in one place on his chariot. This was possible by the grace of Lord Kṛṣṇa. Makam karochi vachalam pangam laite grim yad kripa tamaham bande Shri Gurun dinatarinam Arjuna vacha paśyāmi devāṁs tava deva dehe sarvāṁs tathā bhūta-viśeṣa-saṅghān brahmāṇam īśaṁ kamala-āsana-stham ṛṣīṁś sarvāṁ uragāṁś divyān. Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Kṛṣṇa, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahmā sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Śiva, and all the sages and divine serpents." Yes, so this is Arjuna, of course, speaking to Kṛṣṇa. He has the divine vision. And this particular verse, which Prabhupada brings out in the purport, brings out the fact that he's seeing from the lower planetary system, Patala, where Garbhodakṣaya Vishnu is, lying on Vasuki, all the way up to the Brahmaloka. So of course we're on Bhuloka. Above us is Bhuvarloka, the region of disembodied spirits, ghostly region. Lord Śiva is the Lord of the ghosts, he's Bhutanath. Then above that is Swargalok, the heavenly area, the devatas. Then above that is Maharlok, the great sages reside there. They're not disturbed by the periodic pralaya at the end of the day of Lord Brahmā. Then above that is Janalok, where even more elevated sages meditate and study the Supreme Lord. Above that is Tapalok, austerity, where the great devotees in tapasya who followed brahmacharya and so many austerities in bhakti reside. And then above that is Brahmaloka. And Prabhupada said it is a lotus-like planet. So in the Shastra, I once did research on all these levels. And for our understanding, is understand that in Brahmaloka, it is 95% Vaikuntha planet. But there is 5% of Sattva Gun, and it comes down all the way here. Now on this Bhuloka, everything is very passion and ignorance now, because of Kali Yuga, passion and ignorance. Passion means I want to enjoy the body and sensuality. Ignorance means I want to control, and because I can't control, I become frustrated. So below Bhuloka is Atala, Vitala, Sutala. Sutala is where Bali Maharaj is. And Bali Maharaj will be the new Indra at the end of this day of Lord Brahmā. We're in the 7th Manu, Vaivasvata Manu. And so when the day of Brahmā, the 14 Manus run their course, then there is a partial pralaya, like I say, up to Swargaloka, and then for one night of Brahmā, there is no creation below Mahalok, Janalok, Tapalok, Satyalok, and that goes into sleep, like Lord Brahmā. And then below Atala, Vitala, Sutala is Mahatala, Tala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. And so the 7 chakras, Muladhara chakra is like Bhuloka. The 7 chakras, Bhuloka, Manipur chakra, that is Bhuvarloka. Then we go up Anahata, Agya chakra, so on, Satyaloka. So also the 7 lower planetary systems, they correspond to the hips, the thigh, the knee, the calf, the ankle, the upper foot and the lower foot, Patala. So the universal form which Arjuna is seeing, he says here, I see your body, all the planetary systems. So this is also, it is said that this is an imaginary form in one sense, because we don't see it in this way. Arjuna is seeing it in relationship to Krishna. He's seeing everything, and he's seeing a particular vision of that universal form, the Virat Rupa, Virat universal form, that compresses or expands everything into one place. All objects, all beings, all history, and all future events. Arjuna can see everything, Krishna has said, in this universal form. So that is an amazing thing. We can visualize such a vision. Of course, we will only get some glimpse, but Arjuna is just seeing it like we see the walls of this building. Can you imagine? We see the ceiling and the lights and so on. Arjuna is seeing it openly because of divya chakshus, divine vision. So one point is, this of course establishes that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda. We don't find anybody else. Prabhupada was once said, oh, this person is saying he's an incarnation. I told you, then Prabhupada said, well, is he the reservoir of all beauty? But you can also ask these bogus incarnations, you can also ask them, show me your universal form. Actually, in the Mahabharata, Krishna, he went to see Duryodhana before the battle. He tried to make a peace, last chance. Duryodhana, before you're destroyed. So Duryodhana tried to capture Krishna. He thought, oh, he's the friend of the Pandavas. I shall capture him and bind him, and then I'll have an easier job doing away with the Pandavas. And it is stated there in the Mahabharata that Krishna manifested a partial universal form. So that's very interesting. So below Sutala, Vitala, and in the Bhagavatam there is a short description of all the different living entities going down. Just like in Rishabdev's description, 5th canto. First we have the earthly beings, then we have the bhutas, then we have Gandharvas, then we have Siddhas, then we have Asura, then we have the devas, and then we have the perfected beings, Lord Brahmā. And Lord Śiva is considered junior to Lord Brahmā because he manifests from Lord Brahmā. He actually manifests, his root in the Vishnu sense is Shankarshan, in the Chatravyuha, Mahavishnu. But he is considered inferior in terms of, or subordinate to Lord Brahmā, because he's the son of Brahmā. He comes from Brahmā. The Kumaras and Narada Muni, they didn't want to become Prajapatis. They wanted to maintain celibacy. So Lord Brahmā got frustrated. Anger after frustration is one of the nescient engagements. So he pinched his brow, and Lord Śiva manifested in that way. So he appeared. So in the teachings of Lord Vrishabhdev goes through all those different living entities, and he explains that above Lord Brahmā is the highest, and he said, and then above them all, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am Purushottam. But then he says, but because I am inclined to the Brahmins are highest of all. Krishna says that. So Krishna, he puts the Brahmins above himself. Of course, the Brahmins don't think in that way. But that is, I'm inclined to the Brahmins. So what is a Brahman? Brahmana janati Brahman. A Brahmana is not caste. That is a Kali Yuga thing. Jati Brahman. No. Smarta Brahman. By birth I am Brahman. No. A Brahman is somebody who has realized Brahman. He knows what is reality. He knows what is spiritual reality. He knows Siddhanta. He knows the soul. He is immersed. He is Brahmano Pratishtaham. He is situated in transcendence. Mahatmanastamam patha devim prakritim ashritaha. He's taken shelter of the spiritual energy. So that person, Krishna is inclined towards. So they inhabit these higher planets. They come down, become acharyas on this earth. They spread Krishna consciousness under the direction of Krishna. They are always in transcendence. So it doesn't matter for them material or spiritual. It's the same thing for Krishna. For Krishna, matter or spirit, it is all my place of Leela. So this is important. In the Shastra, it is distinguished, the material creation and the spiritual creation. That is for our understanding as we approach Siddhanta, as Sambandha Jnana. So here, this is a wonderful thing. We are seeing Krishna, Arjuna is seeing all this wonderful manifestation. And he is completely enlivened. Just like at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Narada Muni, he practiced meditation, and then one evening, Vishnu actually appeared to him, not just in his meditation, but actually appeared. And it explains there that all his senses, his spiritual body, his spiritual essence became enlivened. So these things we can see Arjuna and Narada Muni. Same thing with Dhruva Maharaj when he saw Vishnu. That this is the real progress of consciousness. This is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not an intellectually arrived state of consciousness. It is ultimately the full expansion of the living entity. Just like a seed is an oak tree when it's small and when it's medium, but when it's fully blossomed, then the full nature of being an oak tree is there. So the soul, the Atma, the Bij, the Jivatma is like a seed. Under Krishna consciousness, it grows and flourishes to the point where he can realize Krishna. And therefore we see, if we look in the great acharyas like the 6 Goswamis, they performed incredible austerities. They wrote incredible literature. Vedavyas, he is Shaktavesh avatar. He's dressed in the Shakti of Krishna. He wrote the Vedas. There is no book just like the Mahabharata. But the Mahabharata is just one book of the Rig Vedas. He accumulated all the Puranas, and then he wrote the Amula Purana, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is incredible. And then we see in the case of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all the songs and bhajans and one Sharanagati and so many. He wrote 100 books, Tatviveka, Anmaya Sutra, Jaiva Dharma, Chaitanya Shikshamrita. It was like an ocean flowing out of him. So these personalities, they are not, ordinary people. They carry, what is that verse? Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravatana. Without the Shakti of Krishna, you cannot preach Krishna. And then we see Srila Prabhupada. At the age of 69, in a box of books and 40 rupees, he went to America. He started chanting, he opened a storefront, he gave classes, and suddenly ISKCON flourished. And at the same time managing and guiding 5,000 disciples and many others, and discussing with professors and so on. He manifests all these books in a faultless way. So these people are empowered. These people are not ordinary, but they are that is a manifestation of the spiritual personalities. And we should always put the acharyas, mahajyena katasva pantha. The Vedas are full of directions about this and that, but we should always put the acharyas as the ultimate guide. We can call everyone acharya teacher, but when the real meaning, the Paramahamsa acharya, is that person that is on that transcendental platform, and from that platform he is empowered. He is empowered. One time when I joined, way back in the 70s, the devotees there, they told me, Prabhupada, I think I told this story a couple of years ago, Prabhupada only sleeps 2 hours a day. So I was new in the temple. I thought, well, they love Prabhupada and they are exaggerating. They're glorifying and they're getting carried away. I was thinking, how can anyone just sleep 2 hours a day? But then one time in the early 80s, I was in Hyderabad running the temple there, and there was one devotee, Krishna Kishore, and when Prabhupada came to Nampally Station Road in Hyderabad, he used to sleep outside Prabhupada's room at night, as a kind of chowkidar. And he would serve Prabhupada in the day. And he told me, yes, Prabhupada would take rest at 10 o'clock. The light would go off. Sometimes guests would come till 10 o'clock. And then at 10 o'clock, the light in Prabhupada's room would go off. And then he would sleep outside the door, because, the crack under the door. And then at 12 o'clock, the light would come on. And he would hear Prabhupada walking back and forward in the room, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And then he'd sit down and translate and do commentary. And then, because he was the big Swami, all the big leaders in Hyderabad, they would want to see the big Swami. They would come and they would discuss with Prabhupada. Prabhupada would go for a morning walk, but in the afternoon, Prabhupada would take some lunch. And then if guests were there, he would not sleep all afternoon. Sometimes, if he had lunch, Krishna Kishore told me, Krishna Kishore, yeah. He told me that Prabhupada after lunch would have half an hour's rest. But if all the big people of the town came to see Prabhupada, then he wouldn't have time for rest. He would just be discussing with the big leaders. But still he would go to bed at 10 o'clock and the light would come on at 12 o'clock. And Prabhupada didn't use an alarm clock. There was no alarm clock. So, can you imagine such a schedule? And Prabhupada, of course, so Prabhupada said like that, we should try to reduce eating and sleeping. The Goswamis, they're famous for just eating, drinking a little charge and chanting lakhs of names. It is said that Sanatana Goswami used to do 3 circumambulations of Govardhan in a day. So, and then writing all these literatures. So these people are not ordinary. And by service to them, by studying, by Buddha Yoga, by absorbing their message, Mahadhyena Katasva Pantha, that is how we link with transcendence. Of course, we meditate on Krishna and Krishna's Leela, but by the grace of their instructions and their descriptions. So we can meditate on Virat Rupa, but this is coming to us through a great Acharya like Srila Prabhupada, through Vedavyas, and so on. So this is very important, that in this material world now, Kali Yuga, there's much hurly-burly, there's this and that, but we should never be distracted from our meditation on the lotus feet of these great Acharyas. Because that is how we fix our mind on transcendence. And by meditating on these great sadhus, we become sadhus. You see? As everybody knows, yogic principle, if you meditate on the faults of others, those faults tend to come to you. Because we're vibhinangsa, we absorb the things that we meditate upon. But if you meditate upon the great Acharyas, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, the 6 Goswamis, Jagadananda Pandit, Madhavendra Puri, all these great Acharyas, then bhakti blossoms and we become sadhus ourselves. Because we can be sadhus, this is the point. We should be dissatisfied. Oh, I'm not a Paramahamsa. We should be Paramahamsa. You understand? There's no restriction, man, woman, child, old, young. It doesn't matter, because we are spirit souls. Sava upadivene mukta tar paratrena nirmalam. We have to realize our spiritual quality and meditate in a mood of service to the Vaishnava Thakur. And that is our link to transcendence. If we get into political, of course we have to know what's going politically in the world and so on, but we should not be distracted. We should be like Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat he knew in his past lives he had made a mistake by becoming affectionate materially to a form. So I'm not going to make that mistake now. I'm fixed on Krishna. So yes, in any society, in material or spiritual or the world society, in Kali Yuga, there's a lot of, discussion, who's right and wrong and this and that. But our concern is service to the Acharyas. And from that position, we become enlightened. We become enlightened. And then we start to see reality as it is. Because when our consciousness is on the transcendental platform, then we're not in the Achit Shakti. The Achit Shakti has 2 effects. Remember, I quoted many times the verse from the Vishnu Puran. When we're in the Achit Shakti, we have nescience. We have illusory ideas on the mental plane, in the mind. We think, should I this, should I this? What is the best social system? Is this my friend? Is this my enemy? Why did she do that? Why did she do that? Oh yeah, nescience. What line of action should I pursue? Is this right? Is this wrong? We're in confusion. And the second effect of the Achit Shakti, when we meditate on the material energy, the darkness of the material energy, is that we become full of fruitive desire. We think, I'll perform this activity to get this fruit for myself. So everyone is thinking, I'll get a job, I'll get money, then I'll enjoy whatever I call enjoyment. English wine shop, or looking after the family, or I'll buy a big car. I'll enjoy once I've got the fruit of my labor. So this is nescient activity. But when we serve the acharyas and study the character of the acharyas, then we become enlightened. We enter the spiritual energy. And when we're in the spiritual energy, everything is open. There is that verse, Yasya deve prabhaktir, yasya deve tathā guru, taityate kahita yata prakashante mahatmana. To that person, that devotee, who has implicit faith, complete faith in Guru and Kṛṣṇa, everything is revealed in the same way that the sun reveals everything in the daytime. So enlightenment is the nature of the soul. Soul is Satchid Ananda Vigraha. Sat, we're in the asat condition. We have a temporary body. So we identify. Achit, chit. But chit means cognition of reality. But we're achit, we're in nescience in the material world. Niranand, we're not enjoying. But the nature of the soul is to be full of bliss. The Anand should be the substance of our consciousness, right? Vaikuntha. But in the material world, the substance of our consciousness is kuntha. Oh, I'm going to marry this beautiful girl. Maybe she'll leave me for my best friend. Maybe I'll lose my job. If I eat this, if I go to the restaurant, I'll become sick. We're always thinking in an anxious manner. So, Niranand. And then Vigraha, form and personality. We don't know our real nature. So Sanatana Goswami, when he approached Lord Chaitanya, he said, Kayami, who am I? And why am I suffering in this world? Why am I in ignorance? People call me a big minister. I'm supposed to be learned in Sanskrit, Persian, Hindi, Bengali, everything. But I don't know who I am. I don't know my nature. And people are just calling me this. But so, who are we? That means our spiritual form. So, Vigraha means that. We all have a swarup, a spiritual form. And in the Bhagavatam it says, Muktir hitavan yata rupan swarupena avashtati. I think that's second or third canto. And translation is that mukti, this is the definition of mukti. Mukti is not just liberation from Maya. That is one side of the coin, the lower side. Mukti is to be established in our swarup, to be situated in our relationship with the Supreme Lord, our eternal relationship. When we're situated in the realization of that, when we're relating to Krishna in swarup, that is real mukti. From that level of mukti, one never returns. If one becomes merged in the Brahmāṇ or liberated from Maya, one can easily come back down, because it's not. What that ye rivinda mukta maninas. people with a Vishuddha Buddha, they think I'm liberated because I'm in Brahman. I'm reaching the great field of Brahman energy. But that is not so. They're getting temporary relief. But there is this famous verse, we all know, right? Haranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukam satyadharma dristaye. Number 17, I think. Or maybe 15. Yes, it's 15. Haranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam mukam tattvam pushan apavrinu satya dharmaya dristaye. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove, that means the Brahman effulgence, the golden glowing effulgence. Please remove that covering and exhibit yourself, your form and personality to your pure devotee. Yes. And then it's quoted here in the purport, Prabhupada, I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal and imperishable, eternal, the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. So it is the basis, Brahman realization. It is the basis of Atmaram, but on the basis of being self-satisfied, we serve Krishna, and then we taste rasa. So here you can see in this, like I've been saying the last couple of weeks, you can see the rasa of Arjuna. He is saying, oh Krishna, this is incredible what I'm seeing. So in the Das Mula Tattva, there are 3 mulas to describe the Supreme Lord. First one is Hari Ishvara. That the Supreme Lord, Hari, Radha Krishna, is the source. So the Krishna is the source of the Virat Rupa. And then, second mula is Achintya Shakti. So he's possessed of Achintya Shakti, inconceivable range of energy, inconceivable in range and depth, unlimited Shakti. So that is number 2. And those Shaktis are divided into 3. The Chit Shakti, the Jiva Shakti, and the Achit Shakti. And then the third aspect is that Krishna is not only the source of all these energies, but he is Rasa-viśeṣa-saṅghān. He is the source of all rasa. So, Rasa Tattva, Arjuna, right? Rasa Tattva, in Rasa Tattva, it is part of Prayojan Tattva, Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan. So what is Rasa Tattva? Rasa is the science of rasa. Just that is Sambandha Tattva. Sambandha Tattva is relationships. So there's 3 basic categories of the energy. There is Krishna and his relationship with the Chit Shakti, with the Jiva Shakti, and the Achit Shakti. That is 3 Sambandhas. And then there is the relationship of the Jiva Shakti to the Chit Shakti, and the relationship of the Jiva to the Achit Shakti. So that makes 5. And then there is the relationship of the Chit Shakti to the Achit Shakti. So that is the 6 Sambandhas, the 6 relationships. So we should study that Siddhanta. And then Rasa Tattva, just like I say, between Krishna and the Jiva Shakti, there is Sambandha. So Rasa Tattva is the science of that relationship. In that relationship, Krishna is the shelter of rasa for the devotees. But for Krishna, the devotee is the shelter of rasa. So this is the deeper meaning of Ye Dhammam prapadyante. I reciprocate in rasa with the devotees. So there are 5 primary rasas. They blend together in the spiritual world. Shanta ras, dasya ras, sakya ras, vatsalya ras, and madhurya ras. These are called sthayi bhavs. Everyone has a fixed conception, a sthayi bhav. And we should learn to chant in that awakening sthayi bhav, in a mood of seva. So these are the 5 basic. But they can also blend. There is also sambandha ras. Sambandha ras means Krishna is our local admi. He is Brijbasi, I'm Brijbasi also. This is sambandha ras. So these are the rasas that are exchanged. Krishna thinks, yes, I'm a Brijbasi, so I love the Brijbasis. In the Shastra it says, I love even the dog and the hog in Vrindavan. So we shouldn't throw too many stones at the monkeys. But so there's an exchange of rasa. So Krishna is the shelter, the devotee is the shelter, and they're reciprocating rasa. And then there's 7 secondary rasas. Hasya, laughter. And today's rasa, adbhuta, astonishment. Arjuna is astonished. Just like if we meditate on Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas and Veda Vyas, how he wrote the Vedas, if we really understand that, this is astonishing. It's astonishing. So we think, but Arjuna is getting the big astonishment. He's seeing the whole material creation. All from Lord Brahmā to this, the devas, Vasuki, all the planetary systems, all the great manifestations, forward and back. He's adbhuta. And then number 3 of the secondary rasas. Now these are moods that mix with the sthayi bhav. You understand? In this Leela, Arjuna is the friend of Krishna. So he is the friend, that is Sakya Bhav, but he's getting adbhuta, astonishing. And then next is chivalry, virya. That means like Bhishma, I want to fight with Krishna, my friend. Virya. Like Yudhisthira was challenged to the dice game. Okay, I'm a Kshatriya, Sakuni, I'll play with your dice. Chivalry. And then there is compassion, doya. This mood also comes out of Krishna and the living entity. That means mercifulness. The guru, the acharya, is the manifestation of doya. Vaishnavebhyo, what is it? Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha. Particularly the gurus, they are the ocean of mercy. Prabhupada was an ocean of mercy. Many devotees, they may have had difficulty. They went back to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada said, okay, make some rasgulla. There was no big thing about, you went away for 2 weeks or something. No, doya, mercy. Then next is bhayam, anger. So, hasya, I was just thinking, hasya, just like in the Krishna book, remember there was that stupid fellow, he was saying, I'm Vishnu, and he put 2 extra arms on his back, right? And then Krishna was looking at him, oh, what an idiot. So it's hasya. So hasya ras means, laughing. But anyway, so kripa or doya, compassion, anger, bhayam. Krishna became angry. Bhishma, you're going to defeat my friend Arjuna. So I'll pick up the chariot wheel. So, bhayam, Nishringadev, right? Bhayam. Who are you, Hiranyakashipu? I'll tear your stomach open. So, now that's heavy, that's angry. But we enjoy that because he's a devotee. Prahlad was there. Oh, excuse me. Put all the blood on one side, let me give you a garland. So, that is Prahlad. And then there is anger, dread, fearfulness. Sometimes a devotee... You can see at the beginning of the Gita, Arjuna was a little fearful, right? Well, I don't want to kill, I don't want this battle, people will die, it's terrible. I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling fearful, right? And then Vidyagupsha, number 7, is ghastliness. Ghastliness. Just like in the old days, we used to have to, there was no road, and it took 5 hours on the coach going to Delhi, and it was a road smaller than this. So I remember one time we were going to Delhi, and there'd been a car accident. And you know, there was bodies. So this is, ghastly. So the battlefield of Kurukshetra, that is big ghastly. It is explained that there was rivers of blood and the severed limbs were like logs floating. And Arjuna is seeing this later on. He sees the beautiful things now, but later on he sees Vidyagupsha. It's ghastly. This material world, Kali Yuga, just like there's war in the world, it's ghastly. So this material world can be ghastly. And then the other part, so there's 5 and 7, and then there is what's called Sancharibhavs. And this is all in Nectar of Devotion, please study. And I think there's 32 or 33. And they are, Sancharibhav means they stir, they mix the primary and secondary rasas. So this is called the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The spiritual world, the devotees are in an ocean of rasa. And sometimes they're feeling vipralamba, sometimes they're feeling sambhog. And this is stirring the rasa. The last of the Sancharibhavs is called Mrityu. And that is, when Krishna went to Dwarpa, the Brijvasis, they were feeling mrityu. That means they're longing for death. But not longing for death because I will non-exist, but longing for death so that I can go to Krishna. Now I'm in Vrindavan. Krishna is in Dwarpa. I'm separated. So if I die in my spiritual body, I will go to Dwarpa. So these are Sancharibhavs, and they churn the ocean of rasa. So the rasa tattva we should understand. If you get Nectar of Devotion, Ujjvala Nilamani, second part of Nectar of Devotion, and if you get Jaiva Dharma, the last section, chapters 24 to 40, that is description of rasa tattva. I've just given, of course, basic idea. And this is very important because we want to get sambandha jnana of the material world, but we really have to become absorbed in the science of the spiritual world. Do you see the point? And we get glimpses of that through the acharyas. We get glimpses of the perfect state of the being. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, any quick question?
You said that the devotee also becomes an ashraya.
That's right, Ashraya, yeah. You can...
Can you expand a little bit on that? Can you expand a little bit on that?
Well, like I said, the gopis, they are in conjugal rasa with Krishna. But Krishna is in conjugal rasa with them. So they are the shelter of rasa. Krishna is the source of all rasa. He reciprocates with the rasa of his devotee. And but he feels that rasa. Just like in the material world, I am a father. So I have a rasa with my daughter, with my son, with my wife. They have a rasa back to me. I have conjugal rasa with the wife. She has conjugal back with my son. I'm the father, Vatsalya Bhav, but I can also have some Sakya Bhav, and he is the friend of me, and he sees me in that way. You understand? So there's a reciprocation of rasa. Say again? Huh? He is when he's in relationship to Krishna. You can read Atmaramas chamanayo nigrantha apirukrame kurvanti itam bhutam guna hari. Because of the qualities of Hari, the Atmarama is natural because we are spiritual. When we're in Brahmāṇam, there's a certain Atmaram, but it is not the nth degree of Atmaram. We are naturally Atmaram because we are the Angsa of Krishna. Krishna is Atmaram. But our Atmaram in the fully developed mode, I think that's what you mean, is dependent on our Krishna. That's why we're really liberated only when we have relationship to Krishna. Then we get full Atmaram, because then our personality is manifest. Yes, that is the point you're making. Yes. But the soul, because it is the same quality as Krishna, has that ability to be Atmaram. But it's dependent. We are dependent Atmaram, you could say. So that's a good point to bring up, yes. But the Mayavadi may think I am Atmaram because I have come to the Brahmān platform. But that is a danger, that is a temporary, they can easily fall back down. And we hear that, right? Sometimes in India, some yogi becomes a little powerful, and then he falls in love with the disciple. And he, so he goes back into material rasa. Huh?
He engages in welfare service, feeding the poor. He engages in welfare services. The Mayavadi.
Yes, the Mayavadi. Well, a Vishuddha Buddha. They don't have, their intelligence is not purified. Because they think that Krishna has come from Brahmā. That's the basic mistake. They think that Brahmān interacts with the modes and he creates Vishnu. That interaction of Brahmān with the modes creates Surya, creates Durga, right? Pancha Upasana is called. Yeah, Pancha. So they put Brahmān as above Krishna. And they think that somehow Krishna is manifest through the Brahmān interacting with the modes, maybe mode of goodness or something. So that is a mistaken philosophy. That is not the Bhagavatam, that is not the Gita. But that is Mayavad. That is Mayavad, or one of the parts. But the writer of Mayavad said, what did he say? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate, Nahi Rakshati, Dukrin, Karine. Worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship 3 times. That means full emphasis. You fools and rascals, your grammatical Sanskrit knowledge and word jugglery, because that's the origin of Mayavad, that will not save you at the time of death. You see, they believe in that the material world is Vaivartavad. Vaivartavad means that it's an illusory transformation. This material world of variety is an illusion. what does it mean? You're calling it an illusion, but I still have to deal with it. I still have to drink tea with sugar, not salt, but it's Vaivartavad. But Vaishnav and the Vaishnav Siddhanta, the Vedic Siddhanta, is called Parinamavad. That this material energy is a transformation of the energy of Krishna for the manifestation of the material world. So that's Parinam, transformation. They believe in Vaivartavad. Huh? Yeah, Tattvam Asi. They have 4 Mahavakyas and they put them above the whole Vedas. But that's what's called word jugglery. They isolate a few words and then put their own twist on. But we follow Bhagavatam, we follow Vedavyas, we follow the Acharyas. We give respect. It's there. If people want to meditate on the personal effulgence, that's good. They're making progress. They're getting some spiritual taste. They're starting to see that spirit is different from matter. That is good. So we don't, But the enemies of Krishna and the Mayavadis, they go to the Brahmān. So the Mayavadi goes to the same place as the enemy. They get purified there. That's it. You see, what happens is they're enemies, so they have hatefulness towards Krishna, and also Mayavad is a kind of denial of Krishna. So when they go into Brahmān, all the bad karma is washed off. It's like going into the Ganga. All the pap goes off. And then they come out purified. Understand? And they can take a high birth. They take high birth. And there they can associate with sadhus and take proper instruction about the Purushottam, you see. So that is mercy of Krishna. All the soldiers, they went into Brahmān. They got on the Kuriksha, they got pure, all their bad karma, gupa, and they become born again in very elevated position, and they can make progress. Same thing with the Mayavadi, because generally they can be very well-meaning. Shanti, Shanti, don't do this, don't be nasty, live in peace. So there's many good qualities. So we must always take the good side. Correct? Yeah. That is sadhu. That's how Prabhupada was. Many people came to see Prabhupada, but Prabhupada always was loving and respectful. We don't want to get into this, we're right and you're wrong. We're with God and you're with the devil. You're with Satan. You can be put to death. This is coming in the Judaic, Christian, Muslim mess. Yeah, friends and enemies. It's just like the atheist, the communist thing. You're not a communist, you're a capitalist. Go to the gulag and work for 20 years in the salt mines until you die. We're right, you're wrong. That is not the Vaishnava way. That is not the Vaishnava way. The Vaishnava way is to be sadhu. Krishna is sadhu. He's welcoming everyone. Huh? Yes, Kripa Sindhu. So thank you for coming to class. See you next Friday. So meditate on the Virat Rupa. Try and visualize in your own way what Arjuna saw. Isn't that amazing, It's, like I said, it's not just philosophy. The Gita is also rasa. And today is astonishment, adbhuta. Just like when we say you see an earthquake or a volcano erupts, you think, wow, right? That is Adbhuta, right? Now just imagine if you saw the whole universe in one place. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for coming. Your association, so much appreciated. Jai, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Radhe, Jai Vrindavan Dham, Sadhu Sangha Bhagavad Gita Ki.